Hi, my name is Jesse at Trash Panda, and this is my In the Bag. Ever since I started making my own discs and thinking more about design, the process of building a bag has become so much more fun. Personally, I'm not committed to any one brand, and I always love trying new discs. So in this video, I want to talk about what's in my bag that's not a disc, obviously the discs, and offer 3 tips to making your disc golf bag more sustainable. I want to give a special shout out to many of you for sending me a lot of these discs, as well as Daniel Godfrey for the used bag. Oh, and before we get started, there's a sneak peek in my bag for the next video, and I'm gonna give one of those away to whoever the first person is to guess it down in the comments below. All right, let's get into it. All right, I wanna start off by talking about what's in my bag that's not discs. As many of you know, I pick up trash on the course, so I always leave with a little extra plastic. So that's dope. I've got my water bottle with my Trash Panda and Fill It Forward reuse tracker. If you haven't heard about these, you should definitely check out my website. I've got my towel, more trash, Sun and Swell cookie bites, which in my opinion are the best disc golf snack. For the people who play with me, you know. Biodegradable toilet paper, because one time I didn't have biodegradable toilet paper. Reusable face mask, Carmex, fun fact, I'm allergic to chapstick. Trash Panda stickers. If you ever see me on the course, I'll gladly give you some. My mini that I can't show you yet. It's not the sneak peek, but it's like a sneak peek on sneak peeks. And my 2021 Mile High Disc Golf tag. Hey, Jesse from the future here really quickly to share 2 things that happened since this video was filmed. First, Sarah from Chump Chalk Bags made me a custom bag. She's another small business from Colorado, and this thing is absolutely one of the non-disc items in my bag now. The second thing is that I added a partners page on my website highlighting all of the brands that I work with. For example, you can get $10 off your first order of cookie bites from Sun and Swell. So the link is in the description, and feel free to head over there after this video. Trust me, you won't regret it. My goal for the way I design my bag is to have an understable, stable, and overstable disc in each category: putter, mid, fairway, and distance driver. There may be some exceptions to that, but that's generally how I like to think about it. And I'll throw every disc in my bag backhand, but I really only lean on the overstable ones for forehand. The only disclaimer I want to mention is that I get all of my discs used, which means I barely pay attention to flight numbers. I'm more interested in how the discs I have actually fly. So when I talk about them and where they fit in my bag, it might not reflect their flight numbers. For putting, I use the Gateway Hemp Blend Magic. I used an AVR for about 10 years, but switched to this 2 years ago. I absolutely love how the blend feels. I love that it's earth friendly, and it seems to just go in the chains. Now, even though they're not PDGA legal, I definitely carry 2 of my prototypes. This one's high density polyethylene, and this one's polypropylene. I can't help but throw them sometimes, and honestly, when I meet some of you on the course, I love being able to show you. Now, I'm not super good at throwing putters, so I'm gonna immediately break my rule because I don't have an understable one. That said, the first throwing putter in my bag is the Joel Freeman Tour Series Whale. Joel was kind enough to give me this thing, and it throws fantastic both backhand and forehand. And if you've ever watched him play, his forehand upshots with the Whale, it's a thing. Going to a little more overstable, of course, an R Pro Pig. I don't think anything really needs to be said here because if you've ever thrown one, you know. And lastly, my most overstable is a BT Harp. Now I know there's some controversy as to whether or not this is a putter or a mid-range, but for me, I throw it like a putter. And this thing is beat in. It's not a puddle top, it's like puddles top. But for some reason, it still does what I want. All right, as you're definitely gonna find out, I don't throw a lot of understable discs. Starting with the most understable disc in the mid-range category is my ESP Buzz. My buddy recently dyed this for me, and it's honestly too pretty not to bag. I know it's technically not understable, but it holds a line and doesn't really fight out of it, so that's the slot it fills for me. As far as stable mid-ranges, I carry 2. My AGL Woodland Magnolia and my Dynamic Discs EMAC Truth. To be totally honest with you, they're pretty much the same disc, so the difference lies in the plastic type. The Woodland plastic from AGL might be my favorite plastic I've ever felt, but it's a more baseline plastic, so it beats in easier. That said, it's my perfectly straight flyer, and huge shout out to Kyle Neely for this one. The EMAC Truth, on the other hand, is in their biofusion plastic, and I found it in a used bin, so it's like triple recycled. And it'll go perfectly straight for me with a nice gentle fade at the end. And last up, my most overstable is the Dynamic Discs Suspect. This is an absolute staple in my bag, and I love it. Both backhand and forehand, this is like my mid-range get out of jail free card. Okay, there's one more, and it kind of fits between the mid-range and fairway drivers, and that's the Castaplast Cax Z. This thing is new to my bag ever since the best mid-range video. It's super stable and it pushes the distance of what a mid-range can do. That said, it sits down nicely and it doesn't get out of control like a fairway can. But I'm still kind of figuring this one out. Alright, if I'm lacking anywhere, it's in the fairway driver department, so bear with me. First up, for my understable, I have an Avenger SS. Now listen, I know it says maximum distance driver, and I can get this thing to go really far, but it flies more like a fairway for me, and that's what I use it for. My stable fairway is the Latitude 64 Explorer. I'm not kidding when I say it, this is a perfect disc. It'll go perfectly straight for me with a reliable fade at the end. The only problem with it is that I only have one. So if anyone has any Explorers or Avenger SS's collecting dust, let me know. And for overstable fairways, I carry a Flex Avenger. Again, I understand that it's a maximum distance driver, but for me, I use it like a fairway. I have two of these, and whether it's backhand spike hyzers or forehand flex shots, this is my get out of jail free card. In fact, it's even my go-to grenade disc. Now in distance drivers, I actually break it up into 4 categories. Understable, slightly overstable, and overstable. My most understable, which is relatively new to my bag, is the Westside King. This thing is fantastic, it's almost brand new, and I can get it on a huge turnover shot. So all that being said, I don't trust the flight numbers at all. My slightly understable is a Westside Giant. This is my go-to driver, but to be totally honest with you, I do not trust the flight numbers. To me, it's way more like an 11 speed than a 13 speed. I've got a pink one that I use when it's windy or in low elevation, and I've got an orange one that I use when it's not windy or I'm up in the mountains. I love these things. Moving on to the slightly overstable category is the disc that I've had in my bag for all 12 years of playing, the Innova Wraith. I honestly don't think I need to say anything here. This is a perfect disc. Now in the overstable category, I have a Discmania DD, and I wouldn't be a true Coloradan without a Cloudbreaker. These discs are super reliable, and to me, they're completely interchangeable based on the elevation or the wind direction. Now I've got 2 more distance drivers in my bag that are completely utility. And the first I think is the most unique disc in my bag that I've never met anyone else who throws. If you do throw one, you're my people. It's the Innova Ape. If I trust the flight numbers on any disc, it's this one. It's a 13 speed, 0 turn, and 4 fade. It's basically a user-friendly tilt. I've been throwing it for about 6 years now, and when conditions are inconsistent, this thing stays consistent. Whether it's over the trees, straight into a headwind, or with a high torque forehand, this thing has a huge use in my bag. Last up is a first run Vulcan. I'm not super good at rollers, but this is my roller disc, and it's been really fun to learn how to use it. At Trash Panda, my goal is to grow the sport sustainably, so I wanted to quickly give you 3 tips to make your bag more sustainable. And the first one is simple: buy used. Whether it's your local shop's used bin, Facebook Marketplace, or OfferUp, there are plenty of options. And just that simple act can reduce the demand for plastic production. The second tip is to use a reusable water bottle. And if you want to take it a step further, check out these reuse trackers on my website. And my last tip is to leave some room for trash you find on the course. Whether it's an extra pocket or the main one, leaving a little bit of room can make it that much easier to pick up trash. So there you go. That's what's in my bag. If you're on Team Ape or have a guess what the sneak peek was, let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to support the channel, and we'll see you next time.